face shining. All right. So I got about, they say this stuff start working in like 30 minutes, but ooh, there's a mosquito in here. It was a big mosquito. I know it's 8:30 in the morning, and I know some of y'all already at work because, you know, y'all got them regular day jobs. And some of y'all still in the bed, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and get out what I want to say, and, you know, those who want to see it will see it later. And, you know, the difference between doing a live video and doing a pre-recorded video is I don't really get to edit anything. So whatever I might say, you know, you can use it against me or whatever you want to do, but, you know, I'm going to say what I got to say. So, you know, the topic that everybody is on, like on my timeline, on every piece of social media, which I haven't even been on other social media since last night, but everybody is talking about, you know, R. Kelly's TV show or whatever, they documentary that they did. So I got beef with everybody who's surprised. Like, you know, first of all, they didn't need to do a documentary for everybody to know what he had already been doing. So if you shocked, then, you know, you have just been with your blinders on for the last 20 some years, because R. Kelly been doing this since the days of Aaliyah that we're aware of. And I didn't even watch the documentary because I didn't need to, because I already know, you know, R. Kelly. I already know what he was doing back then. So I need to watch it, you know. And but why everybody is surprised about it, that's the part that's like shocking me, because unfortunately people haven't looked past the fact that, you know, there's a lot of underage child molestation, incest, and all that stuff going on that was passed down to these men. And I'm not just talking about black men, I'm not talking about just white men, just in general. Like, this society is effed up when it comes to how sex has been like this drug that people just can't kick it. I don't care what you do, I don't care what age you are, it don't matter what or where you came from. If you have been exposed to that life in some way that was not appropriate, then you are going to have some issues when you grow up. I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, my own story proves that I've had issues, because everybody who doesn't know my story will soon know my story, because I do have my I have a teen book coming out, and I have my children's book that I did put out last year, and I'm re-releasing it, and it's basically about telling when you have been abused. And unfortunately, when you don't tell that something happened to you, you never get the help that you need, which means that you don't ever really fix the adult issues that you may have. And, you know, don't nobody know really how R. Kelly grew up. We don't know if he was raped. We don't know if he was seduced when he was a teenager by some female that seduced him. I mean, it all just kind of becomes a cycle, and people just don't really want to accept that. I'm not saying you got to understand it, because if you don't know what it's like, then it's hard for you to understand anything if you've never been through it. But what you can do is look at the fact that, you know, he's not just doing this because he thinks it's normal. You know, and I'm not making any excuses for him or anybody, but things happen to people and it causes them to do certain things. And not to say they're legal, because we all know most of the stuff that all these celebrities do is not really legal. But, you know, speaking on the actual R. Kelly issues, where the parents who were involved in these girls getting involved with R. Kelly for whatever purpose, radio, music, you know, they thought there was going to be a relationship, whatever the issue was. Like, R. Kelly is got to be 40 plus, almost 50 by now. I know he got to be 50 something because he's older than me. But why would parents still be getting their children involved with somebody that they know from back in the 90s was like dealing with young girls? Like, I don't understand why parents would still do that, thinking that their child was going to get on. And I mean, YouTube is like the best thing that could have ever happened, because people post stuff on there that they ain't afraid to post, just like these live videos. But anyway, they tell you what goes on in those back rooms right before you sign those contracts to get these record deals. Like, I don't understand why people don't believe that stuff happens. It's too many different accounts on what they do to even get you signed. And if that's what they're doing to get you signed, what makes you think your little sweet little, you know, virgin little teenager is not going to get turned out? Like, what will make you think that your child is any different? Like, this is a money-making industry. If you're not going to make them no money or have some type of obligation to somebody else, then, you know, you ain't going to get on. You ain't going to get signed. You ain't going to be next to the person who got the money, who having you living up and lavish and shopping and all that stuff. Like, it changes when you realize what the risks are. And that's what I felt like, because the girl that came out like a year or so ago, when her parents was all over the news trying to get him to let go of her daughter, and she was acting like she was happy and she really wasn't. Like, all that stuff was like, why would you let your child go live with a grown ass man? And she was still underage at the time. I think she was 17. And then once she turned 18, he was like, oh, well, you know, we got a relationship and we cool. You know what? This is so funny because, wait, I don't know how to turn this camera. Look at these ducks in the middle of my street that I'm not supposed to go because they got some chatting to do, right? I don't know if y'all was able to see that, but I hope so, because my camera, I don't know how to flip it around no more. Sorry. But anyway, it's like this whole neighborhood is so funny when it comes to these ducks. But anyway, that was a little break. But when I was watching that last year, when that girl came out, her parents was trying to get R. Kelly in trouble back then. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be that family that try to put him out there. And I was like, okay, the documentary came out. I was like, ain't no need to even watch it, because I already know what they're going to be showing and how people going to get all enraged. And then I'm like, okay, so they still going to play his hits on the radio. They still going to play him at the club. They still, like, the same way they play everybody else, the same way they play Elvis Presley, who was dealing with an underage girl, the same way we all still go to Disney World. Like, all these people that are in the industry in some type of way, we all still subconsciously or unknowingly are supporting them. Like, if you knew half the stuff that was going on in the entertainment industry, you wouldn't be entertained by anything or anybody. So, you know, we all so quick to judge people, but, you know, we all got our own little skeletons too. And just because we ain't on the news don't mean we ain't no more guilty for what we have done that people don't know about. And being a sexual predator seems like it's like the ultimate thing, but it's so common amongst so many people that people aren't looking at the issues, like the issues before. Like, those girls involved with R. Kelly gonna be jacked up unless they didn't got some type of counseling, or, you know, shoot, heck, their parents should have got some freaking counseling for even putting them in there with R. Kelly and believing and thinking that he was going to treat their child differently than he treated all the other ones, you know. Somebody made a comment about Aaliyah, you know, like, where would she be right now? I'm like, shoot, Aaliyah probably wouldn't even be in the game right now after she, you know, found out, like, what was really going on. And people already believe she knew what was going on. And that's why she ain't even here now. But people are still, like, with their blinders on. Like, YouTube some stuff. Like, there's actual people talking about what goes on. And just because they're not saying names that you know or people that you listen to, you know, it's still happening. So it doesn't make it any better, just, you know, or any worse just because it's R. Kelly. Like, it's going on all over the entertainment industry. Actors and musicians and athletes, like, they're all doing some under the table, in the closet, dirty, grimy stuff. And, you know, somebody has it out for R. Kelly, and that's why his story is out and everybody else's isn't. Like, you know, aside from P. Diddy, like everybody believe he's gay, but you know, but aside from him, like, people ain't talking about everything else that's going on. If it don't hit the news, people assume that that person is cool, but really it's a whole bunch of them out there that that ain't doing what's right by the proteges that they trying to bring on. You know, they slaving them. They slaving them, and that's just what it is. And people have to stop, you know, picking on one or two people, thinking that it's just them, when really it's a whole slew of them in the entertainment business. And thankfully, you know, I didn't get caught up in that, because I could have very well been, you know, that 19-year-old Atlanta life or 18-year-old Atlanta life. I was right there in the thick of it during the 90s, and when all of them was coming up that we was listening to. And I've been to some places, I've been to some studios, and I was there. So I saw from my very own eyes what really was going on during that time. And it is still going on today. It's just a different age, and it's new artists doing it. So don't just pick on the one that got caught or the one that they put the documentary out on. They all out there doing it. And it ain't right. Nobody's saying it's right. But unless you plan on turning off your TV, your radio, you know, you ain't going to the movies no more. Like, all the entertainment that you so-called enjoy, those producers who you put money in their pocket, those, you know, they're all the ones up there making the money and calling the shots, are putting people who want to get on in positions that they cannot undo. You know, that whole selling of the soul thing is for real. People will sell everything, including their own children, so that they can get some money. And that's what I believe happened to some of those girls, where their parents were kind of agreeing to allow them to sign with or to deal with R. Kelly in situations that in other scenarios where they wasn't hurting for nothing, they would have said hell to the no. My daughter is too this for that. But because, you know, people do certain things for money, you know, it was fair game. But once they saw what kind of skin they had to put in, they wanted out, and it was too late. And that's what I feel like, you know, these people who are upset now are upset more because they were not aware of what they were going to lose when they signed up. But now you know. So everybody henceforward, if you are not paying attention to what's going on in the entertainment industry, and like I said, it's all forms of entertainment, including athletes. You putting your family and your children in these positions, and you wanting them to get it big and be millionaires, and working for these, you know, these top executives who are, you know, puppet stringing them so that they can put you up in that nice mansion or get you that nice car you want. Go ahead and do that, and see what happens to their soul and what they have to do to keep that money, to keep you up in that nice house, keep you up in that car, and keep their friends and family thinking that they live in a happy life, and they are sad and sorry as fuck. That's exactly what they are. So, you know, for some people, you know, you only live once, and they feel like they're going to try it. But, you know, we don't only live once. So mess it up if you want to. See what happens.